me.
All right. So last week was bad. So
Last week was great.
it was
Bad for who?
bad for Cowboys fans, for Jaguars fans. It was good for you picking. So you win straight up. You went 9-5, which tied with Striker. I just went straight down the gutter at 8-6. Against the spread, you did fantabulous, 13-3. Striker actually made money at 9-6-1. For some reason, he picked the Dolphins at 7, which was the spread. And then I just said, who needs money, and got 7-9. Overall for the year, gets the spread. Me and you are in first, 29-17. Striker's fallen 3 games back at 26-20. Gets a spread 27-20-1 for Ripper, 26-21-1 for me, 20-26-2 for the Strike.
So what I've noticed is I can pick with you guys, but don't trust my betting lines choices. That seems to be the run we're going on. So
Looks like I most definitely improved on the betting line this week.
Give it 2 weeks, right? It's an average.
I mean, you went from below 500 to well above 500. So yeah, I would say you did.
I've learned. Just go against Wardy.
No, well, you said it was go against Striker. And then last week, I made the notification that I was like, I've bet a lot with Striker, and I was worried. And now I realize that is a very key thing. So, oopsie.
Alrighty then.
Anything you guys want to talk about from last week?
70 to what? Who gets fired, Wilson or Peyton?
Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson.
What were his stats for that?
But that's not his fault. That's not his fault, right? They put up 70. It's not like he was throwing pick sixes every other play.
Now I gotta go.
What was his stat line?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to pull right now.
I don't know. What does the analyst say?
The analyst is saying his internet is slow. I mean, he was 23 for 38 with 306, a touchdown and an interception.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, he wasn't terrible, but dear God.
The whole defense was terrible if you gave up 70 points.
Which is the it's supposed to be the strong suit of the team, right?
Mm-hmm. So I will tell you guys, I think probably the funniest part of that whole thing was when Mike McDaniel got up into the crowd and literally was having like the crowd choose plays. I don't know if you guys caught that or not.
Was that real?
No, but it sure is
Okay.
funny. Sure as hell looked like it.
That would have been funny.
Censored for some reason, didn't win the lottery. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm sorry.
70 to 20 is horrible though.
That's a butt whipping.
The Cowboys lost. Come on, we all knew that was going to happen eventually. That's typical Cowboys, right? Big. Then look, we're just going to show you we're really the real Cowboys.
Well, and it goes back to any
loss.
given Sunday, right? Like, the Cardinals are not supposed to be a threat to an elite defense. And then so just your take on it. Is Diggs getting hurt part of the reason, or just they didn't show up?
Nah, man. Look, Diggs getting hurt is going to hurt your defense, but this is next man up, right? Like, one guy should not kill your whole defense. That's a fact. It's next man up, man. The next guy that stood up is a professional. Is he going to be as good as Diggs? I don't even think Diggs, in a 1 to 10 scale, I think Diggs is an 8, to be honest. So the next guy, if he's a 6 or 7, we're good to go, man. I don't think that's what it was. I just think they just came out flat and stayed that way. It was horrible.
I think the one game this weekend that shocked me was the Chargers-Vikings. Because Minnesota had a chance. They literally had the ball in scoring position and couldn't get a playoff because their home team crowd was too loud.
Well, at least they had 11 people on defense.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was Notre Dame, though, so.
You want to talk horrible, though. Let's talk about Joe Burrow, though. Still not doing much.
Well, he's hurt. He has got to be hurt.
Well, he is hurt, but, it is what it is. It's going to be that way for a while.
Jamar Chase finally started catching balls, which is good for all those Jamar Chase guys. But, man, Burrow. I'm still patting myself on the back for not picking him. Although my pick was not great either, though. Sunshine ain't doing much either. I wish I hadn't picked either one, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
I have options, right? I could pick up somebody else.
You get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit, right?
Well, just going back to Sunshine is who I thought he was. Maybe not. I still believe he's going to turn it around. I just don't know if it'll be this season.
I so the Texans game was fun to me because, well, the Texans apparently do well in Jacksonville. I thought it was the other way around, but it's they won in Jacksonville quite a few times. And it's one of those, like, it was a comedy of errors. Like, the fullback fumbles the ball, everybody gets out of position, and then he recovers and then scampers for 80 yards. Like, that's the kind of stuff that just doesn't happen. We could somehow get a pass rush against the Chiefs, but not against a rookie quarterback. Like, I didn't get that at all, especially with a decimated offensive line. So it was a strange. The game was a strange game. Like, it looked like we just weren't. It wasn't, it was like, it wasn't, again, like the down and distance. It looked like the down and distance was our favor. We get the 3rd and 3 and we just didn't convert. And it was just a weird game. So, but you're playing against the worst team in the league. You should be able to, one of the worst teams in the league. You should be able to beat them. So, yeah.
The worst team in the league is Denver. Let's be honest.
Till next week, right?
Who are they playing next week? This week?
I think the Bears.
And his name is John C.
So, is the worst team.
Harley. Bad Harley.
Should it be the loser?
Good, Harley.
Wow. Denver and Chicago.
Don't do that.
Is that even a game you want to watch?
No. I want to see how bad Fields is.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so anything else about, the Dolphins obviously are a juggernaut right now. Baker came back down to earth. Anything else?
Dude, 70 points in this day and age of the NFL is huge. Huge. It's a college score.
Yeah.
A lot of close games. 15-10,
Dolphins by
Patriots,
50. Browns with a nice win. 49ers
Chiefs.
rolling.
Chiefs kill the Bears.
Chiefs kill the Bears. All right, let's get on to week 4.
All right.
First game of the week is the Lions at the Packers.
It's gonna be a damn good game. It's actually the one. It's the one I'm looking forward to the most this week.
I still don't believe in love. I mean, what do I know? But I think the Lions are still hot. I think the Egyptian is back. Their running game definitely looks good. I know who got hurt. The running back for the Lions. Montgomery.
Yeah.
But Jameer, what is his name? Gibbs or what is his name? Stepped up pretty well, didn't he?
Yep.
From having him on the fantasy team, I would like him to step up a little better. But yeah.
What was his stat line?
It was not that well.
I thought he had like 80-some yards.
It was 70, 80, yeah. But no scores.
It was 80, no scores. Didn't really catch the ball out of the backfield, so.
Well, they're both 2-1. Let's start with that. Defensively, I think they're somewhat evenly matched. Right?
I would say so.
Yeah, and they both got phenomenal offensive lines.
I'd probably rate the Packers' defense better than the Lions by a little bit, but just a nudge.
Overall, though, I think the Lions' defense is going to be too much for the Packers' The Lions' offense is going to be too much for the Packers' defense. I think the Packers. What's the line on this one?
It is the Lions by 1.5.
Yeah, I'll
in Green Bay.
Lions by 3 in Green Bay. That's me. So they cover. Jared Goff's doing well, man. I mean, he's got 819 yards right now, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks. Not bad at all. I know Montgomery got hurt, but Gibbs should be able to step into it. You got great receivers, a tight end that's really stepping up. I think this team looks good, man. I think the Lions are the better team on the field. Love hasn't done too bad either, right? 655, 7 touchdowns, 1 pick. The only thing about Love is, does he really have receivers right now? I would answer that no. And he's no Aaron Rodgers, like I said before. Is Aaron, what's his name, Jones playing?
Possibly.
Yeah, Detroit or Green Bay needs a running game. They
AJ Dillon is not. Jones,
he is not it.
Sure.
Yeah, they need. So Jones is supposed to play. So mine is, I think the Packers are going to win, but I'm looking up and Stryker believes the same thing. So now I'm worried. But I think the Packers are going to win because they're going to have Aaron Jones back. They're going to have Watson because they're playing at home. And I think the Lions are a little bit banged up. That's what I think. So, the Packers.
The Lions.
Yeah. So my thing is, I think the Packers are got the better offense. I think both teams are going to have a hell of a protection game because each quarterback's only been sacked 3 times, Love and Goff, right? So it's a pretty small pressure window. I just think Green Bay at home. I think Lambeau on Thursday night. There's some value to that. So
I think the home field advantage most definitely, but better offense. I don't know about that.
I don't think that. I think they got a better defense, and I think the Lions are banged up. Although,
You think so?
if they had Jones, I think they can run over him. Like, I think they can run the ball very well against the Lions.
Sticking to my guns.
You're probably right, but again, Packers home. That's a
Big-
thing.
I mean, Vegas has Detroit for a reason, so they obviously see what Ripper sees.
Yeah, but they have him at 1.5. That's almost a sucker's bet sometimes.
Yeah, that is definitely a trying to get money bet on that game sort of situation.
Or
Alrighty.
people are betting weird. So next up, the London game, Falcons playing the Jags, which I broke the Falcons bandwagon. So you're welcome. As soon as I hopped on the Falcons bandwagon, they turned into what I thought they were. So.
So
That
I think
is
the
three.
only, yeah, I mean, I think Jaguars. I'll just go first on this one. I think the Jaguars they're a +3 on the spread, and I see the Jags winning it. I'm not going to go over the spread because I've learned my lesson that it's better just to take the spread or damn near the spread when you're betting. But I just don't see how Atlanta takes this game. And I think Jacksonville comes about pissed after last week, and I actually think it's a 10 or 14 point difference, but I just, from a spread or from a line point of view, I'm not about to bet that.
I keep waiting for Lawrence to really just explode and have these big, great games and be everything I thought he would be this season, and I just don't see it yet. He's 736, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks for what, 3 games now? That's not great, obviously. The run game is still there, right? Etanene, I'm sure anyone that owns Etanene out there in fantasy leagues is really pissed that Tank keeps stealing touchdowns in the red zone, but it is what it is. This game all depends on if Ridley is on fire or not. That's really what Lawrence's number one weapon is Ridley. And he had a great first game, and then he kind of just cooled down a little bit.
He had a great first half.
Well,
And then he cooled off.
Correct.
Yeah, they've been spreading the ball pretty easily. Evan Ingram's got 21 targets, Christian Kirk's got 23, and Ridley's got 26. So they're not focusing on Ridley, that's for sure.
On the other side of the ball, you have Ridley, or the other team, anyways. Quarterback play for Atlanta is not great, obviously. The run game with Algier and Robinson, not bad at all. Robinson's also got like 14 receptions. Not bad at all, but I think I'm with you all. I think the Jaguars win this one. I think they're a little too much for the Falcons, even though they're 1-2. I do believe the Jaguars take this one. What's the spread? 3
3.
for the Jaguars.
Yes.
Yep.
Keep in mind,
So
this
you
is
want-
a London home game.
I think the Jaguars win it by a touchdown, by 7.
So you want a crazy number? QB rating for Lawrence and Desmond Ridder are just about the same.
What's the average yards on the passing
For which team?
for?
Or like in general?
Yeah, compare the two. What's the average attempt distance?
6.5 for Lawrence, 6.3 for Ridder.
Jeez. Yeah. You pick 3. You can't pick 3. That's a push. So you want 4 or you want 3?
Yeah.
No, that's
cover
Striker.
4.
That's Striker for some reason picked 3.
Well, I thought I'll take a 4 then.
Yeah, if you got to bet over the line.
Dude,
I'm
I
picking
don't
Jags for 7.
I don't bet sports games, so I don't know how I still don't fully know how like lines work half the time, just because my brain doesn't understand negative numbers that way.
Well, when you bet by the line, you're not really betting I'm going to say Jags win by 7 and they cover anyways. You're just betting whether they cover or not.
Well, correct, but like when you basically for the Jags to win the bet, the Jags have to win by 4 points.
Correct.
You won't
That's
make
what I
any
mean.
money if the Jags get 3 points. You don't get any money.
No, I get it, but when you're making the actual bet, I'm not going to say, "Oh, Jags by 4."
Correct.
Right?
You're just
betting
taking the
whether they
money
cover or
line.
not cover.
Correct at that time.
Correct. And 3 is a push.
Correct. So
As long as they cover, I'm good, right?
correct.
Or are we actually going by the fact?
No. I mean, once you go over, so it's the line, right? So wherever you're at, if you're at or above that line, or if you're above that line, you win. If you're at the line, you tie, and if you're under the line, you lose. So, and like if you pick the Falcons, it doesn't. If the Falcons win by 1 or 100, it doesn't matter. So this team's weird. I think they do better in London. So I think it's going to be Jags by 7, but it's more a hope. Like I could see a scenario where the Falcons come in and run the ball, but I think they can stop a one-dimensional team. I just think that. So I guess in the best case scenario is that they play the Chiefs tough and basically exhausted themselves playing the Chiefs and then didn't have anything in the tank for the Texans. I don't know. This could be again. I was worried about the line. It still seems to be a problem. So I'm going to go with the Jags, as apparently everybody else is. So again, worried. Striker, could you please pick the Falcons?
Negative, Ghost Rider. Your
Thank you.
partner's full.
All right. Next game is going to be the Vikings playing the Panthers. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped one. Dolphins at the Bills.
Okay, I was like really confused there for a second.
So, I mean, I don't think the Dolphins are going to go put 70 points up on the Buffalo Bills. That's fact. Their offense
69.
Yeah, right. Their offense is definitely high octane right now. I think they found something in that running back. I don't know how to say his name, but a Kane. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. He looked good. You know, he was injured, and now he's there and he's healthy and he's looking great. Tua looks awesome. Hill looks awesome. I mean, this team is just freakishly good right now. However, I don't believe that their defense is all that. Playing against Denver, it's a little what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sick, so I'm a little confused. But playing against Denver, you would think it's a. Jeez, help me, boys.
They made them seem better than they are.
Correct, right? Like, all right, you're playing the JV team, so yeah, you look great. But once you go play into the varsity team, it's a different story. I do believe the Bills have a way better defense than Denver and a better offense as well. I think this game's going to be a lot closer than 70-20. End of day, though, I honestly think that Miami is really high octane right now. They're looking really good on offense, and that's a tough team to stop on offense. On the Bills on offense, however, Cook is looking good. Allen is Allen. He's got 5 touchdowns, 4 picks though, so he's still throwing. Although 3 of them came in one game. Diggs is still there. Tough team to beat, bro. Overall, this was going to be a really, really good one.
The Bills are favored by 2.5.
Bills are favored. You sure?
I'm sure.
Wow.
It's in Buffalo, so it's literally the odds makers are like, wow,
It's a coin flip.
Yeah.
I really, it's a tough one. This is a coin flip, and it is a tough one. You want to root for Miami or think that Miami is going to win after a big walloping they gave Denver 70-20, but this is the Buffalo Bills, right? This isn't Denver and Sweet Pickles bust Rod Wilson. I think it's a tough one. I want to say Miami comes back to earth, but I don't think so, man. I think Miami's going to ride high on this one. By not right, I don't think they outscore Denver or come out with that 70-point win, but it's going to be a tough one. It is a coin flip, and I'm having a little bit of a struggle with it because the defense is really great with the Buffalo Bills. think Miami wins it though, man. I'm gonna give it to Miami. Miami for the win.
Miami for the win.
Yes.
By it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
A point.
Uh,
Well, so that. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. You're right. Never mind.
Bills are favored.
correct.
I went in circles there, but I'm a little sick, so
I like it. I like the circles.
I don't.
So, this is the kind of stuff that I love because you see a team in action and you go, they're a juggernaut, and then the next week they plop back down to earth. Just like no one thinks the Cardinals are going to be a good team this year, except for Harley. So the Dolphins played a team. They played fast. They played loose. They beat the tar out of Russell Wilson, and they're going to go play the Bills, who are not that not they're the one of the top teams in the AFC, and they're going to play in Buffalo. Buffalo is going to bring their A game, and I think they've got the gun. I mean, they've got the guns on defense to slow down the Dolphins, and they've definitely got the guns on offense to keep up with them. And if we talk about fantasy relevance, these teams are stacked, right? Like you got
teams.
yeah. I mean maybe. Well, the weaknesses are the same on both. I mean they're mirrors, right? You got no running game for either team, right? Because they don't. You've got Tua's hitting historical numbers. Allen's hitting good numbers. Tyreek's great. So is Diggs on the other side. Like they're mirrors. Um, Buffalo probably has a better tight end on offense. So, but I think again, Buffalo's defense is one of the top 5-10 in the NFL. Miami's is not, and I think that's enough. I think that with the home team, Buffalo by 3.
Number one offense against number one defense.
So who's the Billa that you picked there?
Oh.
Well, already typed in Billa instead of the Bills.
And I think you can figure that one out.
I know. I just had to be a smartass.
Yeah, you did.
So
You didn't.
I'm with. Yeah, I did. I always do. So I'm with Ripper on this one. I could go back and forth. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I mean, what's the over on it or the over under on it? It's like 54 points, I think.
120.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, seriously. To me, I think the difference is I think Miami has just got a better like team right now. I think by the time we get late in the season, if this was a late in the season game in Buffalo, it's a different ball game. But Buffalo's not going to have any real home field advantage from a weather point of view. They're not really coming out of. I mean, they're 2-1, but they lost in overtime to the Jets. They smoked the Raiders, and then they smoked the Commanders. They haven't really been tested. So for me, Buffalo or Miami's at least come out and said, you know what, we had to fight the Chargers week 1 and won. We played the Patriots, and the Patriots are actually better than I expected this year, and then they smoked the Broncos. I think if Buffalo can keep Miami under 28, they win the game, but I just don't see that happening. I've got Dolphins by 3. I've got Dolphins by 3, and the Dolphins are. I think that's probably low, but
Tyreek Hill, bro. Ain't nobody stop him yet. Ain't nobody stopping him now.
Speaking of, in the money league the three of us are in, I am getting some amazing offers for Tyreek.
I bet you are. Has already offered to give you some favors for Tyreek?
No, Wardy doesn't care. So, I mean, I just that offense. Name an offense that you've seen that's done that. When's the last one?
Well, and they could have set the regular season scoring point record for a single game if they hadn't taken their foot off the accelerator.
Yeah, but they averaged 10 yards a play.
Right.
You're not getting that. Denver gave up. Like, I'm sorry. That's on Denver. Like that if you think they're going to do that to Buffalo, man, 2 is probably going to be a heap in quarter 1. It's not going to happen.
But what I said was all Buffalo has to do is keep them under 28, and I don't think they do that. I don't think Buffalo can slow down the offense that much. They don't need to put up 50 to win. They need to put up 35, 28 to 35. If they do that, they win the game.
Cray. All right. Next game.
Yeah, that's why they play the game, right?
See.
Next game on the list is going to be The
who
Vikings
cares?
at the Panthers.
Oh, that's not the game. Sorry.
The Panthers still aren't looking great. Vikings most definitely the better offense. Madison finally showed up, which is good to see. Not much more to say from the Panthers on my book, anyways. What's the spread on this one?
Minnesota by 4.
I'm gonna take the easy out on this one. Say Minnesota covers and wins because I'm about to have a coughing fit. So Vikings.
I guess Minnesota by 3 is actually the opening line. The line right now is Minnesota by 4, but
I think the Vikes win this one handily. I don't think the Panthers are gonna give them much of a problem.
so I'm with you on the Vikings, but I think it's because Bryce Young is coming back, not because Andy Dalton is playing. I watched that Seahawks game obviously on Sunday, and Dalton is. I mean, Dalton gives the team the better chance to win today. I'm not
Well, they
sure that
use them.
matters. Yeah, I'm not sure that matters to them. They're trying to get Bryce Young, reps and game time, knowing full well this season is a lost cause for them. But if I am Carolina and I'm trying to win games, Andy Dalton starts this year. He looked damn good, even in the face of pressure that Seattle had. The only reason Seattle won that game was because their offensive line was like a false start machine. There were like 8 false starts, including one on the punting team. But I just don't see Carolina doing enough with Bryce Young at quarterback. And so I've got Minnesota by 7 on this one.
How much did Ripper have him by?
Line is 3, so I think he went 4.
Correct. Covering.
So, yeah, the I loved Andy Dalton throwing because he threw to Thielen a lot. So I would be happy for him to stay throwing to Thielen. The line's actually good on this one. I mean, these aren't good teams. Neither one of them. The Vikings have like turned in the inverse Vikings of last year, and I think the Panthers. I mean, they're plugging along. They're not getting blown out, right? But the quarterback isn't. He doesn't. He looks like the 4th best quarterback or 3rd best quarterback in the draft. So I just I would like to say the Vikings are going to stumble again, but I just can't. There's too many weapons on that team to stumble to the Panthers. Even if it isn't Carolina, I'm going to go Vikings 4-2. The game of the week. Bears at the Broncos.
I mean, you made me choose who was going to win that one because it literally was who cares. Who cares and
Yeah, really.
why? I mean,
there's really not much to say about this game, to be honest. I mean, there is and there isn't, right? Like, it's whose quarterback is going to suck least? Who's the running back that plays quarterback? I don't even know if we watched this game, but given that we have to choose a winner and a loser here, and the spread is 3 for the Broncos. Wow.
yeah. I mean, it's a
Hold on, I'm
literally.
flipping a coin.
Well, it's in Chicago, so Vegas actually thinks the Broncos are a 6-point favorite.
No, I mean,
because
I'm still waiting for Rashawn Johnson to become the starting running back of the Bears instead of the quarterback. That'll come eventually. Fields isn't all that. I think Rod Wilson plays a better game.
What is the problem? Is it
In what sense?
so? Here's the deal: you draft a quarterback in Mitch Trubisky, right? You get rid of the coach. The guy comes in and says that this isn't my guy, right? So then you draft another cut him. Then you get another quarterback in Fields. For some inexplicable reason, you keep Nagy around another year. For him to show that he's terrible. Then you get this new group of people, which includes a defensive coordinator that just got removed from the team because of something mysterious. Like, is it And nothing I saw in Justin Fields says he possesses the arm talent as far as accuracy and decision making to be a good in this league. He may have the strength to throw the ball, but he doesn't make good decisions. Like it's first read for him. It should be, quite frankly, first read, second read, run. Right?
Yep.
He's not doing that. It's first read, second read, hold on to the ball, and then get sacked for a billion-yard loss. They surrounded him with weapons. Said that well now you have weapons, so you can go out and throw the ball. That's not his game. Like he's not. I just don't. The Bears have had a series of issues, and at some point when you keep drafting first round quarterbacks, is it scouting? Is it coaching? Because it can't all be the player, right? Like you can't just keep.
Is it the ownership? I mean, you could ask that about, because Dallas definitely has that problem.
But
right?
Dallas has a meddling owner, right? So
yeah, but listen, even before the new coach came in, they've always had quarterback problems. So I would kind of lean towards ownership as well. I mean, they had the Cutler. They had, you can go down a list of just quarterbacks that just weren't all that.
well, and keep in mind too, you're talking, what is it? New York, L.A., Chicago, top 3 population centers. New York and L.A. have 2 teams. Chicago's got 1. They live and bleed on this team, and it's been a train wreck. Like,
yeah.
So,
I mean, they're kind of like Washington, the Commanders, when it comes to loyalty. I've never seen a more loyal fan base than I have the DC guys.
Yep.
Because when those folks root for those guys like you wouldn't believe. It's crazy.
So somebody's got to win this game. I mean, to me, it's amazing that they keep getting quarterbacks and they keep, ruining them. It's almost like Cleveland may be the place where quarterbacks go to die, but Chicago's where they go to start off the endless journeyman career, right?
Yeah. Agreed. Chicago sucks. I don't even remember who I picked.
I don't think you picked
Wonderful.
Yeah, you haven't picked yet.
Oh, Denver. My bad.
All right.
I think Denver wins this one. I think they're. Come on, man. You just got slapped around 70-20. You've got to come back and do something. Especially, this is the perfect next game for them, right? Perfect opportunity to bounce back against the Bears, who just aren't that great. So,
are they covering?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Broncos cover.
So I'm torn because there's 2 ways in my head. There's 2 ways this goes. Number one, the team's already given up, which seems. Peyton's a good coach. I don't think that's happening. But that game against the Dolphins, man, that's it. And the defense is getting worse. Like it started off like the Denver defense of old, right? And then the second week it gave up 30 points, and then the third week it gave up 70. Like they're on track to give 140 to the Bears, which might equal like 28 in Bears points, right? So I don't know if they've hit rock bottom. The Bears are at home. I think this is one of the few wins the Bears can actually do. And everybody's dogging on the Bears this year and saying how terrible they are. I think Justin Fields goes running crazy on the Broncos. I think the Broncos have given up. So I'm going to go the Bears.
There you go.
Because they're
go, girl.
at home, and it's the Bears.
Yeah, I went the Bears too.
Damn it.
Kind of for the same reason. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you see what I'm picking. I've already got my picks in for everybody, so. But
no, I don't look at those. To be completely honest, I don't look.
No, okay, fair enough. So I don't see Denver as a good team. I think they've got good pieces, but I can tell you I got a couple of Denver Broncos fans who are friends who are just, they're flabbergasted, and it's like, well, yeah, because they don't have any cohesiveness. Everybody's in it for themselves. There's no like playing for the win or playing for the team, right?
They're playing for the Russell.
Yeah. Well, to the point where they've even had to tell Russell, your image is actually, like, you're trying to groom your image too much is hurting you. So I just don't see the Broncos winning this one. I think it's close, but I think the Bears at home pull it out.
I would like to change my pick because Striker picked the same pick I had. That's. Ah, damn it. Okay, we have the Ravens at the Browns.
Well, I keep waiting for the Browns to just be miserable, right? They keep doing well, or keep winning anyways. I thought for sure they were, up the creek with Chubb out. I don't know if their last game, their rushing game was too great, but I guess what's his face, Massage Boy, did pretty good. Um,
Yes,
all right, maybe I should hit the talk button when I'm talking, but yeah,
Massage Boy did well.
Massage Boy, yes, Massage Boy did all right. He did. I think this game, for one, Lamar Jackson isn't throwing many touchdowns, right? He's rushing like crazy and running in touchdowns, sure, but he has 608 for 2 touchdowns and a pick. Not too fabulous.
Well, he doesn't have a lot of weapons either.
Cleveland's defense is really playing pretty good, in my opinion. I think the Cleveland defense will do a good job of slowing Lamar down. And you're right, he doesn't have a lot to throw at right now. And the running back game is hurt. I think Edwards got hurt too, right, recently.
Yep.
So the Browns
Concussion,
take
right?
this one.
Concussion.
Browns take this one. I think the spread is what, 2.5 you have there?
The Browns at 2.5.
They cover. Browns by 3. Foggy-headed me is not doing great. FYI.
Or you're doing excellent.
Sure. I'm gonna go 1 in 1,000.
So to me, honestly, Hunt is a Chubb's light, and they've got him now. So I don't think the Browns are losing anything. Watson actually looked alive this last game, and I think it's true. I think the rust is coming off. I think he's getting back. I don't think he's going to be the superstar he was, but I think he's going to be an above-average quarterback. On the flip side, at some point, there is no running game. Like they keep hurting running backs. There is no wide receivers that can get separation anymore. And Lamar can only do so much on his own before he gets the season-ending injury that's coming. This is in Cleveland. I think the Browns are going to win. I think they're going to win by 3. And the fact that Stryker picked the Ravens has nothing to do with that. But I honestly think the Browns will take them. Never count Lamar out, but I think he needs a running back to get healthy. He needs Odell or Beckham to come back. Maybe them find another weapon, and then things can be better for him. Stryker, over to you.
Yeah, so I kind of did this by looking at what Vegas started with, which is the Browns 2.5 at home, which is basically a coin flip, right? And what I see when I dig a little bit is that Lamar has been running a ton, but he's actually not been terrible passing. He's throwing 200 yards a game, which it's kind of in his wheelhouse where he does. Like he's not a prolific thrower in the grand scheme of things. So he's actually on pace roughly on his yards per completion. The one thing he doesn't have well at the moment is he's getting sacked more than he ever has before. But I don't know if that's just him trying to make things happen or what. But Cleveland, I just can't get behind him. I just don't think, and maybe it's just a bias I've got, but the massage molester or whatever you want to call him. I think he's a decent quarterback, but I don't think he's a guy who gets the team over the hump. So
do you know why they get sacked?
Why Jackson gets sacked, or
Yeah.
why
The same quarterback, and suddenly he's getting sacked more?
It's because he's running around more. He's trying to do more.
No, it's because the wide receivers can't get separation as used to.
Are we still on the Browns Ravens?
Yeah, we're still then, and that's why the Ravens wide receivers can't get the separation that he's used to, so he's holding the ball longer because he's having to go through his progressions, and no one's getting open, and he's not checking down fast enough.
Who do they want to throw to? What do they have? Zay Flowers, the best receiver he has right now?
And he's hurt.
Yep.
Aguilar, come on, Aguilar's been to how many teams in the NFL now? Like 18.
Correct.
Yeah, so he's never going to throw to. The run game's not there. It's all on Lamar, man, and that's just too much. He can't do it all by himself, and that's fact. This is why the Browns will win.
The Browns.
The Browns. Dude, the Ravens are ranked 5th in rushing because of Lamar. It's crazy.
Yeah, all because of him. The Texans and the Steelers. Or the Steelers at the Texans. Flip those around.
Well, let's start off with the Texans got their one lucky win already. So that's over. They're vying for that draft pick, so they got their one win. They'll be good for what, maybe 3 wins. One of them against the Jaguars, maybe 2.
I would like to
Steelers are
say
starting.
one. I'd like to go ahead and put that in the request, please.
Steelers are starting to come around. I know that they're
You
retiring.
okay there, buddy?
No, I'm not. All right, they're retiring J.J. Watt jersey that night too. By the way, in Houston, with his brothers in there and all that. I don't think the Texans play inspired though. I think the Steelers end up smacking them around on J.J. Watt night. What's the spread on this one?
Steelers 3.
Although their rookie quarterback for Texas isn't looking too bad, man. Nico Collins looks all right too. So does Tank Dell, the receiver they have.
Yeah.
Not bad. They've got some good. It's a good little team, man. They're gonna surprise some people. I just don't see it being the Steelers. I think the Steelers come out and have a pretty good game. The Steelers defense to me is way better than the Texas defense, but I could be wrong. The spread is 3 for the Steelers.
It is 3 for the Steelers.
3 for the Steelers in
Man.
Houston.
Tough one only because they're playing charged up right on the J.J. Watt night. Texas might. I'm gonna pull the trigger, man. I'm gonna go with Texas on this one. I really am. Texans to cover. All we gotta do is win by 1, right? We're going with the Texans. You heard it here first. The crazy Texans.
Go ahead, Striker.
And then they'll lose another 14 games after that.
Yeah, I think Texans at home on JJ Watt. You said it was JJ Watt day, right?
To retiring his jersey.
Yeah, I think there's just going to be too much there. And I got to tell you, I was not sold on CJ Stroud, but holy crap, that dude is showing something. He's getting sacked a lot, but he's also a rookie, so that doesn't surprise me. He's got Nico Collins and Tank Dell that are both pretty solid receivers. Even the running game, which is Pierce has only got 100 yards so far, is I mean, it's not great, but like you almost don't need it to be on some level when he's able to move the ball like he is. They you could tell it the first couple of games were fast, but I got to tell you, against the Jaguars, the game looked like it slowed down for him. So I got Houston by 3. I got Texans basically. I had him by 3 before Wardy was nice enough to change the line over for me. I think the Texans win this one, and I don't think Pittsburgh has the energy to get it done.
Pittsburgh wins.
Nice.
Texans are beat up, man. There's not a lot of that. That line is a patchwork. I don't know how they won. I do know how they got up like 17-0, and it was like fluke a 17-0. No, we played like dog. The Steelers are not. They're going to come in. I don't care if it's JJ Watt day. The team is not a good team, no matter what they put up last week. Not going to overreact. I think the Steelers are better. They're going to win. They cover. Steelers by 4.
Nice.
Next up, the Rams go to the Colts.
Ooh. Is Richardson back? Do we know?
I don't think so.
I think he's out this one. They're thought I'm checking the injury report, but I'm pretty sure they said.
But he's concussed, right? So he's in the whole got to do 12 things to get out of the concussion protocol.
That supposedly returned to practice today. So.
Okay.
Colts defense is good. Their run defense is really good. I know that right now the Rams have a Kyron Williams, who I thought would do a lot better this week, didn't do very good. However, you got Matthew Stafford, who I thought would be in the Sweet Pickles bus. Wrong. He's got two very good receivers in Puka Naku. I guess that's how you say it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Tutu Atwell. So he's got the four-letter receivers, Puka and Tutu, as striker, as Wardy, right? Was that who said it?
Yes, that
Wardy,
is
four letters.
he
Yes,
can
that
only
was
throw to
wrong.
4-letter players.
There you go. Well, those are pretty good. And when the other four-letter comes, three receiver tandem in the NFL, in my opinion, aside from maybe Miami. Um, too much for the Colts, in my opinion. Mustache isn't that great. We know that. Rams defense is playing pretty well, so I'm gonna keep it short and sweet due to me not wanting to cough on the mic. Spread on this one?
The spread of the Colts by 1.
No, I'm taking the Rams.
The Rams. Yeah, I again, this is a 2-year removed Super Bowl champs, right? Stafford showing that he got hurt last year. That's why he regressed. He's got some new weapons. Apparently, Rams do it now. Draft anybody with four letters at wide receiver. You're in. First or last name does not matter. He's a equal opportunity 4-letter name guy. And the Colts have been playing good defense, but I don't think their offense will keep up. Even in the losses the Rams had, I thought they looked good. Like they kept up with the Niners. I mean, it was close, and that Niners team is stacked. So, the Rams.
So once again, I go a little off you guys, but that should make Wardy happy because it's
Yes.
a different. So my big thing is I think the Rams had a good opening couple of weeks, but I just don't. They were not as good as the what's them call it as they looked against the Seahawks. They just weren't, and they show. I mean, they lost to the Joe Burrow Bengals for God's sakes. So I think the challenge they run into is they just aren't. They can't move the ball. You can say they're 2 years removed from the Super Bowl, but they lost so much from that Super Bowl team that and that I just don't see how they get it. And the other thing is they can't stop anybody. Like the Bengals, I don't know if you guys watched the Bengals game, but it was sloppy. It wasn't like they were good. It just Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, if he had been healthy, would have put up 50 on them pretty easily. Like they just couldn't stop anybody. So while they're good, they're not good enough. And I think Indy's got a grind right now. So I went Indy by 3 at home.
Happiness.
Hmm.
The Bucks go to New Orleans to play the Saints.
Oh, Baker, Baker, Baker. You want to love him, but you know he's not lovable. 2-1. I'm pulling up the game. Sorry. Sick of Baker stats. 636, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Not bad. Mike Williams is doing really better or Mike Evans. I'm sorry, Mike Williams got hurt. Chargers. Mike Evans is, again, we talked about it last week, right? If you let him slide to the draft, morons, and most of us were morons because we all let him slide to the draft, except for those of you that got him late rounds because he's really paying dividends now. Saints, on the other hand, defense I think isn't too bad this season. I like the Saints defense. I know they did all right last week. Rushing wise, though, the Saints are suffering. But what's his face comes back this week, right?
I do not believe so.
Isn't it this week?
Carr? Which what's his
No,
face?
man.
Kamara?
Yeah, Kamara.
He's supposed to be back this week, but we'll see.
Kamara, Olave. This team looks nice. Carr is the one that got hurt, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and they're saying he's probably out this week, but I bet he'll be back next week.
Oh boy, so it's Mr. Lasik that's gonna be the quarterback. Jesus. Lasik has a bone to pick with the Buccaneers here. Let's not forget that. I think the Saints win. I'm gonna go with it. What's the spread on this?
The spread is the Saints by 3.
Saints cover 4. The Saints.
Saints covered by 4. Go ahead, Striker.
You took my pick for the last one. There you go.
So yeah, I had the Saints, and you can move it to 4, but I think if Kamara's back and good, Kamara is phenomenal, and I think he's a game changer. So
That's it. It's Kamara.
Yep.
It's James Winston, dude. Pick 6 boy. Baker.
You got
Baker.
Lasix.
Bucks win. You know what? He's going to give them the gift of thank you. This is why you got rid of me. Because I threw 50 interceptions. Now,
Putting too much on Baker Cleveland boy.
he's not been the reason they've lost. Their utter lack of a running game and a second wide receiver is why they haven't won more.
Correct.
And their defense is only okay, right? But Winston's going to gift a pick 6 somewhere in here.
Think so?
That'll be the difference.
Did he step in last week?
Yes.
What were his stats
And
last
they
week?
came back. They were up 17-0 when he came in. Then they lost 18-17.
What were his stats though?
I'm not the stat boy. Calvin Ridley Jr. Come on. Bust that out.
Calvin.
sorry, Calvin had to go chase a cat. But Calvin missed what you were saying. I apologize.
Oh, what were the stats for Jameis Winston last week?
Jameis Winston.
Mr. Lasix.
Jameis Winston, 10 for 16, 6.3 on a connect or completion, no touchdowns, no interceptions, 1 sack.
Wow. Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
Just hand off the ball, Jameis. Just hand off the ball. All you gotta do.
Just hand it off. Hand it off. He's not going to hand it off. He's going to hand it off to the bad guys.
Let's hope not.
Eagles are hosting the Commanders.
Good old Commandos. NFC East game. You know they're always tough games when they play each other, no matter who it is. All 4 teams will play each other to the death. However, the Eagles are just too much. They're back to the old FYI. I just want to throw this in there, and I'll show you the clip. I'll have to send it to you guys. So I did the butt push with my quarterback this weekend on our game. We were on the, I don't know, like 4-yard line, and we did the butt push. We did it twice in a row to get it in the end zone, but we did that. It's exactly the way the Eagles do it, and we named it the butt. So I told them, run the butt, run the butt, run the butt. So anyways, yeah, maybe I shouldn't say it like that, but anyways.
Yeah, I think that's illegal in at
Definitely,
least 47 states.
My quarterback's pretty tall and lanky, so they pushed him just like Hurts, and they pushed him in. It was pretty cool. Hurts is back to doing the butt push as well, so are the Eagles. So they're looking pretty good, man. Hurts' stats aren't phenomenal right now, but overall, the Eagles are looking pretty solid. The Commanders on the other side, Robinson has been pretty impressive, Mr. Shot in the buttocks. Howell, not sold on Howell. 3 touchdowns, 5 picks. I think overall the Eagles are just the better team. It's going to be a pretty good game. What's the spread on this one?
Eagles by 7.
Oof. That's the tough part, right?
That is the tough part.
Considering it's an East game, but I think they will. I think the Eagles by 10. You know, it's going to be like a 26-24 game.
Yeah. That's the problem, right? Is that you've got to get over. They got to score 8 points, which means 2 scores above the Commanders, and that's the part that I don't know they'll do. So it's definitely the Eagles win. The question to me is how much the Eagles win by, and
Will they cover?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you and go 10. Striker for some reason has the 7. So Striker.
Push Striker.
Yeah, we'll give it 8.
Okay.
There you go, Pumpkin.
All right. So. Yeah.
But Bush.
I mean,
I gotta send you the clip though.
if they lose to this one, it's one of those. Again, they're all pro teams, right? So, on any given Sunday, but I think 9 times out of 10 the Eagles win, and they win by 10. Send us the video about the butt push. Thanks. The Bengals are the Bengals are traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. and the ghost of Derrick Henry.
Oh boy. So
does Joe Burrow's calf survive, or does he like? I mean, if Joe Burrow's healthy again, this isn't even a questionable game. But that is the question, right? Is Joe Burrow going to be healthy enough to play an early Sunday game? But Joe Burrow is also talking to Aaron Rodgers about calf injuries, and we know what happens when Aaron Rodgers talks to people. Cocaine is snorted.
The good thing I liked is that Joe Mixon looks like he's coming back. He didn't have great yardage, but he did get his touchdown. He did have some explosive runs. I think Joe Mixon will definitely start showing up. However, wrong game to show up on, right? The Titans' run defense is stellar. They're stopping everybody on that run defense. So if we have to depend on Burrow, who is Burrow's backup if he doesn't play? Who's the backup in Cincinnati? Do we know?
God, that's a good question. Wow, I know who he is, but that's only because he played football at University of Washington. Jake Browning.
I haven't heard that name ever.
Right?
Wow.
I didn't think it was him. I thought it was
he's the only one on the active roster.
The Hooker guy or whatever.
Hendon Hooker. Hooker's still coming back from the knee injury.
It's a tough one, man. Titans' run game isn't all that either. Their run defense is great, so I know they're going to stop Cincinnati. It's going to come down to, man, even if Burrows plays, wow. What's the spread on this one?
It is the Titans by 1.5.
Also, Hendon Hooker's actually in Detroit, not Cincinnati, too. So
this is going to come down to the run game. What defense can stop which running back? I really do feel that way. I mean, obviously Joe Burrows isn't doing great, right? We know that Tannehill just pretends to be a real quarterback. I'm a real boy.
But he's got a threat in Hopkins. Like, you don't have to be that great of a quarterback to toss it to Hopkins.
Yeah, but how much has he tossed to Hopkins so far? 14 targets, 153 yards, no touchdowns? Over 3 games, 153 yards, you're not really hitting them. Targets are there, but not the yardage, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to come down to who can stop what run game, and I think the Titans' defense will stop the Bengals' run offense, and I don't think that the Bengals' defense can stop Henry. Although he hasn't done great, he's had 51 attempts on 63 yards. He's not doing great either. This is a weird one.
That's one of those ones though that you gotta commit to Henry, right? Like,
I think the Titans edge it out here, man. I do. Unfortunately for the Bengals, you want to see them come back, and I think that they will. But if Joe Burrows is not healthy, and he obviously is not, he's not. I mean, it's either that or he's like, man, I made all this money. What's that? Boats and hoes, boats and hoes. So yeah, he's partying way too much with Aaron Rodgers, and it's like, yeah, oh well, I'm paid. I doubt that's the fact though. So I think the Bengals are in trouble if Joe Burrow isn't healthy. I'm gonna go with the Titans covering on this one.
Titans by 2. So here's in my head, Tennessee can stop the run. They haven't been able to run the ball. They can't stop the pass, but Cincinnati's not been good at passing. But I think Burrow's enough, even on one leg, to do enough to beat the Titans. I don't. Again, this isn't the Titans that had a really good defense in the past. Their offense or their defense secondary sucks. So I think the Bengals. Oh God, and this was Striker.
The Bengals.
I think the Bengals win.
All right, then. We are definitely different today, boys and girls.
Yeah, and I'm siding with Striker too many times.
You know what happened last week?
I have not even taken any muscle relaxers tonight either. So
maybe that was it.
So I have not partaken in the edibles lately.
So I will tell you the one thing that I look at this game. Tennessee has no offense. Like they don't have any offense. They're one of the lowest scoring teams in the league. They're one of the lowest offensive production teams in the league when it comes to passing and rushing, right? And their defense isn't great. And I'll tell you, the one place that Cincinnati's got them, all Cincinnati's do is get the ball to T. Higgins or Chase and let them go. Like yards after catch is going to be huge this game, and I think that's Tennessee's going to be down and not be able to catch back up. That's just, I mean, I don't see this as being as close as the 3-point that I'm willing to go on it. But I mean, I could do Bengals by 1. I just figured I'd be, be a little different. But
Have you seen the Cincinnati offense? It has not been the greatest either. So
they're somewhere out there with the Denver.
yeah, and we all go, hey, it's his, it's the calf. We hope it is, right? Like, so
yeah.
All right, the Raiders go to the Chargers.
Oh boy. Let's start off with Josh Jacobs. Has been a disappointment. Can we all agree on that? Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking it for me.
Yeah, I kind of wish you hadn't. $1 million quarterback over there. Not too bad. I mean, 939 yards, 6 touchdowns, no picks. I would say he's earning his keep. Joe Burrow, on the other hand, no. Right now, the Chargers are happy they don't have Joe Burrow too. And this team, receiver-wise, they just lost a big one in Mike Williams. I know they got Quentin Johnson coming up, and I know that a few of us have one on our radar or on our teams. I think that's the next receiver for the Chargers that's really going to come out big now that Mike Williams is down. They don't have a real run game. Let's start with that. But Herbert is who he is, and I think that'll be enough to beat the Raiders today. I don't see the Raiders having much left. Garoppolo is also hurt. Is that right? I read that somewhere.
they talk about it. They're kind of they're coy about it, but I can tell you, if they don't, it's Brian Hoyer.
Oh boy.
Of the Houston Texans fame,
Yes.
Brian Hoyer.
I remember Brian Hoyer. Again,
dude, holy crap, he's 37.
Yeah, Raiders don't have a real run game right now, unless Jacob somehow explodes. They have Devontae Adams, which is great. However, without a quarterback, and if it's Hoyer likes throwing to the opposing defense. So there you go. What's the spread on this?
I almost said San Diego Chargers by 4.5.
I think that I'm taking the Chargers and covering. Chargers with 7.
The Chargers with 7. Go Shark.
You put okay. I wasn't sure if you wanted to go next. So yeah, I think the Mike Williams injury is going to hurt, but there's just Justin Herbert is just too good right now. He even under pressure. I mean, he's 3 games in, he's already got almost 1,000 yards, right? He's passing for 300 plus yards a game. They're not running the ball a ton, but they are running the ball.
Well, Eckler's hurt. Eckler's not going to make it back, right?
Right, that's most likely. So they've got, and Joshua Kelly has not been terrible.
No, he hasn't been great. He had one good week, and then he just blew up. Last 2 weeks, he hasn't really done well. I think they're probably going to bring in a veteran.
Then people saw film, and there was like, hey, do this.
I mean, they've got a Texas A&M guy, Isaiah Spiller, that is 3rd on the depth chart that could be good. And then the Northern Colorado running back Dotson. But I think they're going to bring. I think if they send somebody Eckler or somebody to the IR, they bring a depth in.
Agreed.
But yeah, I've got the Chargers by 7, and I just don't. I mean, the Raiders just didn't look good against the Steelers, and I don't think they're going to be any better in SoFi than they will at home. I think if they were going to be good at home, they would have been good at home.
All right, so fantasy relevance wise, what you got? You got on the Chargers, you got no Mike Williams, so you have Keenan Allen, and you got Herbert. On the Raiders, who do you got? You don't have Jacobs. You've got Devontae Adams and Garoppolo, right?
No Garoppolo.
Well, maybe no Garoppolo. He's not been
Garoppolo.
Garoppolo. So has Garoppolo been ruled out?
No, and they won't make that call until game
What
time.
is he questionable or what is this?
He is questionable with a concussion.
Ooh.
And he did not practice today.
He's questionable as a real quarterback. Just ask the 49ers.
Yeah, So I think if Garoppolo plays, they could win. If he doesn't play, they're not winning. So gonna roll the dice with you guys and say he's not gonna play, and the Chargers win by 7. Make it easy. All right, America's favorite team are playing the Patriots.
America's favorite team is playing America's most hated team.
What?
You can figure out which one's America's favorite team and which one's America's hated team.
It's not very nice, striker. So the fat version of Zeke Elliott comes back to Dallas. He had a nice little game last week, so everybody's saying this and that. They do have Elliott and they have Greer, I think, right? From the Cowboys. So the story I read this week was about how they would know all their hand signals and all that. And the Cowboys are changing their hand signals. Is there an advantage to having two ex-Cowboys? Yes. Most definitely will help the defensive side of the ball for New England. However, as far as Zeke coming in, he's coming in with a chip on his shoulder, right? Like they cut him, so he's going to be pissed and he's going to run hard. I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think the Cowboys were embarrassed with the loss to the Cardinals. I think they are definitely, the defensive side is definitely going to come out playing tough, and I think they'll make a statement this game against New England. Mac Jones and company is not good enough to beat on the Cowboys. I can tell you that much. However, it all comes down to one person.
Bill
Gordy,
Belichick.
I'll give you one guess. No, Dakota. Does Dakota match the interceptions to the touchdowns? Is the big thing. I mean, I'm still he's managed games fairly well, right? 647 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. He hasn't done a lot. He's just been managing. Pollard is not the man. I thought. They've already ran Pollard 62 attempts in 3 games. Not a lot per game, but it's getting up there, right? He's definitely going to hit that.
Buddy in your channel was
350 attempt mark easily, I think. Which for his build and his body is really going to beat him up. I think what the Cowboys are missing is a red zone, inside the 5 kind of running back, which was Zeke Elliott gave him last year. They're missing that big time.
They need the bruiser.
Yeah, they don't have it. However, I think the Cowboys will be fine this game. I think the defense will be too much for New England, and the Cowboys will win. What's the spread though?
Cowboys by 7. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll cover. Cowboys will 8.
Yeah, I went Cowboys at 2, and I don't see New England being good enough. I think they're okay. I think they're decent. They're better. Well, they're better than they thought, but they play tough. Like Belichick coaches up the team well, but they didn't look good against the Jets. The only reason the Jets looked halfway, or the only reason they won, is because it's the Jets, and Zach Wilson is
Lack of
definitely
competent
not
quarterback play.
Yeah. The Jets brought in Trevor Siemian for a reason this week. Like,
Yeah, like that's an upgrade. Yes.
Right? That's like saying, Wardy, go out and play the quarterback for the Jets. At least you can throw the 10-yard out without a problem.
Yeah, you're an upgrade to Zach. So.
Right. So I just don't see the Patriots doing it. I think the Cowboys, are going to be fired up coming off that loss, and I've got the Patriots losing, but so Cowboys by 8 is where my line sits on that one.
So the problem I have with this one is the Patriots play everybody tough. Like they don't lose big, and they're probably going to cover the damn spread with my luck, because the Cowboys, again, like you said, they're except for last week, they're managing. I think managing more than with Dakota. They're not really trying to sling the ball down the field. So the Giants game got out of hand, obviously, but this is probably the one that I wouldn't want to touch this with real money, because I think the Patriots can keep this one close. But I'm gonna go with you guys, Cowboys by 8. There's even with all the coaching, there's too little talent on the Patriots. So Cowboys across the board. We got the 49ers playing host to the Cardinals, the Cowboy Killers.
Lightning does not strike twice here. Sorry, Cardinals fans. The 49ers are one of my favorites to be in the Super Bowl or NFC Championship, anyways. Sorry, coughs.
No, you're fine.
Most definitely, the Cardinals don't have the offense or the defense to beat the 49ers. I think the 49ers are an overall, all around good team, both offensively and defensively. This is not the Cowboys. So, keep a long story short, the 49ers will come in here and beat the tar out of the Cardinals.
The question is, do they beat the tar out of the Cardinals enough to cover the 14-point spread?
That's a tough one there.
Yeah, because Vegas is good.
They are, man. And look, the Cardinals did play the Cowboys well, but what happened to the other two games they played, right?
Yeah.
I honestly think that loss was more the Cowboys than it was the Cardinals, to be honest. Yeah, I think that right here the 49ers are just way too much offensively and defensively. They're way, way too much for the Cardinals, and I think they will cover. I'm going to go with the 49ers by 15. One, right? 14 is big, man. They got to win by at least tough one.
Three
It's
scores.
a tough one.
They're three scores ahead.
Scores. Yeah.
It's tough, but I think that they're going to come smoke the Cardinals.
I mean, technically it's 2, but it's.
Well, that 2 pushes it, right? So you got to
Well,
have 3.
no, I mean technically it's 2 scores because you can get 16 points, right?
Well,
I mean,
right, but they're not. Nobody's gonna go for 2 when you're up at that point. Like you're gonna take the field goal or take the extra point and go that way.
yeah. I'm just saying it's not. Yeah, you know what I mean.
49ers cover.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
that's pretty ballsy.
He went with 49ers not covering. So
yeah, so I've got the Niners winning. I've got the I don't think they get to 14. I really don't. Arizona, this is an NFC West game. Arizona plays NFC West teams tough. They're kind of like the AFC East, that they all seem to just beat the hell out of each other. I think the Niners win it. I think it could be 15. I think the Niners could put up 15, but I just don't see the Niners. I don't see this game doing that. But I mean, I wouldn't bet on this game simply because. Well, so the other part of that though, and I just looked at this, the over/under is 44 points. That's an interesting low number for saying the Niners are going to be up by 2 scores or win by 2 scores.
that's because I think the Cardinals will score nothing.
Right. But the Cardinals haven't been terrible. I mean, they're not great, but they're running the ball well. They're not great on passing, but we knew they wouldn't be great on passing. Like they don't have anybody to throw the ball or catch the ball. And so they're I just don't see 14 points. I just don't see the Niners winning by 14. So Niners, I'd say 7 to 10 points. I'm going to go 7 just because that feels better.
Okay. So I'm just going to tick off the ways the 49ers can score 3 scores. C-Mac, Ayuk, Samuels, Kittle, Juszczyk. So that's
the defense.
Yeah, the defense. So that's 6 ways that they can score. They ran the ball down Dallas' throat. Try that with the Niners. They're gonna giggle.
Right.
That's not gonna happen. I see. I mean, sure they played spunky. That was one of those. I just think that's one of those any given Sundays weird shit happens. I think the Cardinals had their day in the sun. Niners. Again, the Niners thing is to make it through these next 14 games and not get hurt. That is their number one mission, and not to get one of those names, especially a C-Mac. Like they've got levels of awesome, right? And they just need to get to the playoffs and not run into the championship game with no quarterbacks. Like that's what they've been there to the playoffs too many times. They've shown their potential to get to the championship game. Now they got to do it healthy. So I'm going Niners by 15. The only fear to me is the game gets out of hand quick and they let off the gas and they don't cover the spread. So
don't be afeared.
That's my only scare. So, and the next game we're going to talk about is the. Go ahead.
So you got an error on your spread line on that one. You got the Chiefs by half a point. It should be 9.5 on the spreadsheet.
That's what it said today. Which I was like, that's crazy. Let me double check.
Discount double check.
Yep. I looked at that one twice.
Yeah, I'm not. I was because when I saw that on, I was like, "There's no way."
I said the same thing. I was like, huh?
I mean, that's free money right there if that's the case.
What happened?
Oh, it's half a point.
Where are you
What?
seeing half a point at?
CBS.
What spread are you looking at? What are we talking about? Because I'm lost.
The Niner or the God Chiefs Jets game. Where do you say? Where are you? What's CBS Sports?
Yep.
0.5, huh? Half a point. Wow. Okay.
I'm seeing 9.5.
That makes a lot more sense. And maybe it's just a typo on the website.
Yeah, because CBS Sports has them at 9.5.
No, I'm looking right at it right now, and it says they're 0.5. And the over under is 42.5.
Take a screenshot on that for me, because I'm curious what you're seeing that I'm not. Because yeah, or take a picture with your phone.
That's what I just did.
Definitely old school.
Right.
Well, it's on my phone. I'm looking at it.
Oh, you take a screenshot. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah,
It's
because
there.
if it's a half a point. Yeah, that's got to be a freaking typo. There's
See,
no way.
I looked
Yeah,
at it three times.
see.
I'm like, that's cray. So, all right. So
Yeah.
let's just go ahead and assume it's 9.5, and this is a mistake.
Yeah, I've seen
what are the other?
three different places: ESPN, Pro Football Focus, and CBS Sports all have 9.5.
I would definitely think it'd be 9.5.
I would. I mean, again, I looked at it and I was like, that makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, we're going 9.5 then.
Go 9.5. Yeah.
All right. Well, Aaron Rodgers less Jets. Chiefs Patty. Run game. I know Pacheco's hurt. Edwards Hilaire made an appearance, but that's not short lived. Long term short. Let's not get too into it. I think the Jets don't have what it takes to beat the Patty Mahomes Chiefs. They got their big boy back, even though he's a Swifty now. Is that what they call it? Swifties? Taylor Swift fans? Swifties?
That is what I understand. Yes.
Even with the state trooper cut, I got it, Striker. I got it.
I'm glad you got that one.
I'm gonna go Chiefs, and 9.5 is the spread. I think they cover. I'm gonna go Chiefs by 10. Keep it short and simple. Only because I don't have a coffee fit in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, so when I saw it the 0.5, I actually had Chiefs by 7 because I'm like, there's no reason to go over that. I mean, the Jets aren't going to do squat, and I think 14. I'm actually surprised this isn't a Chiefs by 14 game on a Vegas line, to be honest with you, because I don't see how Kansas City does it. Just absolutely rail the Jets.
The Jets.
So, I mean, it's Chiefs by 14, and not much else to say.
So Zach Wilson outduels Patrick Mahomes in New York. No. Yeah, Chiefs are going to cover this one. They looked really good last week against a impotent offense, which is the Bears, and I don't think the Jets are any more potent than the Jets were or the Bears were. So, Patty Mahomes scores a lot.
Patty.
Last game of the week, the Seahawks and the Giants.
Well,
Seahawks
Giants
by
aren't
1.5.
that great either. Seahawks by 1.5.
Seahawks by 1.5.
Giants still don't have Barkley back either, or is he back already?
Hold on, I'm looking it up. Barkley's day to day with an ankle injury. So
their second best running back is Daniel
They said it was
Jones.
out like 3 weeks. That's what they said he was going to be out. So if he's
right,
but he's of course talking to Aaron Rodgers about how to get back quick.
Well, yeah, lots and lots and lots of Powdered sugar. Let's call it that. The Giants look bad, man. They look bad overall and all around. They look bad on offense. They look bad on defense. They're just really an unhealthy team right now. I don't see that changing. I honestly think they're going to have a very bad season and probably be drafting somewhere in the top 3 picks. With that said, Seahawks aren't looking fantabulously better. Um, Not bad in the sense like the Giants or the Cardinals or something like that, but they're mid tier team right now in my opinion. No offense, Striker. I think Gino's doing what Gino does. He still looks fine. The running game to me is not as good as I thought it was going to be. Anyways, neither is the receiving game, in my opinion. But I think the Seahawks are a 1 to 10, compared to the Giants, an 8, where the Giants are a 2, right? So it shouldn't be a tough game for the Seahawks. What's the spread on this one?
Well,
1.5.
he is Seahawks 1.5 though.
Seahawks by 3. It shouldn't be a tough game for him whatsoever. There's nothing on the Giants side that'll stop them.
I think the only challenge we've got is the Seahawks defense has absolutely just been porous this year in terms of like total yards allowed. But it's been primarily giving up passing. Like they're third from last in the league in total yards allowed per game right now. But they're like top 5, top 6. They're the 6 overall in rushing yards allowed per game. So they are just giving up a shit ton of passing yards, and they're also giving up a ton of points per game. I mean, they're definitely in the bottom third in points per game allowed. And it's kind of amazing because it's not a Seahawks team I'm used to seeing, right? Like they are not able to stop the ball, but they sure as heck can score a lot of points. They're moving the ball well. They're putting up points. They're doing the efficiency stuff they need to do. I just don't see the Giants having enough. And Seahawks by 2 is an easy pick in my book on that one. So the other thing that I find a little weird is the Jets play at home the night before, and then Monday Night Football is also in MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford. So having the Jets and the Giants both home on the same weekend is a wild thing for the NFL to do.
Oh wow, that's neat.
What was that?
The Jets and the Giants are both at home on this weekend.
Huh?
So the Jets play Sunday Night Football in MetLife in East Rutherford, and then the Giants and the Seahawks play Monday Night Football in MetLife in East Rutherford, which is, yeah.
The cleanup crew the day before must be crazy.
Well, but also think about like you got to get all the stuff changed over. You've got to get the locker rooms changed over because you've got to have. They don't have 4 NFL like size locker rooms. I can tell you that.
That's just a lot of cleanup, though. If you think about it, all those people, the cleanup has got to be nuts. They probably start cleanup right after, and they're 24-hour cleanup crew to the game start. That's nuts. Wow.
Yeah, that's. Daniel Jones is who we thought he was. The Giants don't have their best weapon, which is a running back, unfortunately, in the day of not needing running backs. They look out of sorts. Gino, I think that's the Hawks are a middle tier team this year. I don't think. I don't like Gino. I don't like Gino, and I don't like the Seahawks defense and their weird running game. So I do like their big wide receivers, but isn't one of them hurt?
No.
I thought DK got hurt.
I mean, he's nicked up, but he's not. He wasn't on the injury list.
Gotcha. Okay. It doesn't really matter because again, Daniel Jones isn't gonna impact you through the air, and he's looked terrible. So Seahawks win by their 2.
So I will tell you guys, if you're in a dynasty league, there is a sleeper I would grab here if he isn't, and that's the JSN Jackson Smith Nick Jibba. Dude is averaging like 4.5 to 5 yards separation right now, and that's only going to get better. He's up in that elite number for separation against cornerbacks.
Did you get that from AWS Stats?
I got it from somebody's stats. I'm not going to give away my sources.
Oh, like we were going to steal them. So
gotta keep. No, I actually got it from. I don't even remember where I saw it. I saw it somewhere. One of one of the NFL pages of some kind. It wasn't AWS, but I'm sure it was somebody like that.
All right, nice.
Cool.
Anything other since Gripper's dying? Anything else for this week?
I think the Cowboys come back, have a good game. I think the Arizona Cardinals will show us exactly who they are against the 49ers. I don't think Miami scores 70 against Buffalo. I would be shocked if they did.
Oh yeah, I would definitely be shocked.
I think Travis Kelce,
He's a beast.
well, if he had to shave his stuff and have a mustache because Taylor Swift told him to, his life is going to be very, very bad soon.
Yes. All right.
Meh.
Good week, man. Got this one in the books.
It was fun.
Thanks.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
Sorry I had the coughs and all that, but it is what it
That's
is.
all right.
So I will be live from the coast next week. So taking the week
Coast?
off. Yeah.
Where are you going? What's the coast to you?
Well, actually, I'm coming down your way to Corpus Christi.
When
Yep.
are you gonna be here?
I fly out here in a few days, and I'm down there through like the 9th. So
Holy
I'll come.
smokes,
I'm
what are
gonna
you
try.
doing?
I'm gonna
Work?
text you. No, I'm taking some time off, going to see a couple of friends, hang out with some